Welcome back to the Midnight Developer Workshop series. This is episode 4, and today we are diving into explorers and indexers, the tools that let you actually see what's happening on a privacy-first blockchain. By the end of this session, you will know the difference between an explorer and an indexer. You will have run GraphQL queries against live chain data, and you will have built a simple real-time monitoring script. Let's get into it. Now, you might be thinking, wait, if Midnight is a privacy chain, why would you need an explorer? Can you even see anything? And that's a great question. The answer is that privacy and transparency coexist on Midnight. Public data, block heights, transaction hashes, fee amounts is visible to everyone. That's by design. The private data, the stuff protected by zero knowledge proof, stays private. Nobody can see that, not even through an explorer. But as a developer, you absolutely need debugging tools. You need to see if your transaction landed, check which block it's in, verify that your contract deployed correctly. That's what explorers and indexers give you, visibility into the public layer while respecting the private layer. Let's clear up the terminology because people mix this up all the time. An indexer is the engine. It connects to a midnight node, processes every block as it comes in, extracts the structured data, transaction, addresses, fees, and store it in a database. Then it exposes the data through a GraphQL API. An explorer is the dashboard. It's a web user interface that queries that GraphQL API and shows you the data in a nice visual format. Blocks, transaction, address lookup, all rendered in a browser. So the indexer does the heavy lifting, and the explorer makes it pretty. If you remember the indexer running on port 8088 from episode 1, that's the same indexer we are talking about here. The CLI wallet uses this same indexer to check balances and track transactions. The Midnight ecosystem has four main tools for exploring chain data, and they serve different needs. First, Midnight Explorer by TexLabs. This is the leading community block explorer, full feature, hosted, and the one most people use day to day. Second, Simple Explorer by AIQUANT-Tech. This is a lightweight, open source alternative. It's great if you want to learn how an explorer actually works under the hood, or if you want to fork it and customize it for your project. Third, the official Midnight Indexer. This is the Rust implementation with the GraphQL API. It's the data backbone. Both explorers query it and your DApps can query it too. And fourth, NightGate. This is an interesting one. It's a SAP CAP plugin for enterprise indexing. It normalizes chain data into formats that business applications can consume. If you are bridging Midnight into corporate systems, NightGate is your connector. Let's look at Midnight Explorer more closely. It's available at midnightexplorer.com and supports both the pre-prod testnet and mainnet. You can browse blocks, inspect transactions, look up contracts, check state pools, and even see analytics dashboard with price tracking. It's the tool you will reach for first when you need to verify something on chain. Think of it like Etherscan for Midnight. Same concept, adapted for a privacy chain. Simple Explorer from AIQUANT-Tech takes a different approach. It's lightweight, fully open source on GitHub, and easy to deploy locally. If you're the kind of developer who likes to understand how things work, not just use them, this is the code base to study. You can fork it, customize it to your project, or just read through the code to understand how a block explorer talks to the indexer API. It's a learning tool as much as it's a production tool. The official Midnight indexer is where the real action happens. It's written in Rust for performance and reliability. It exposes a GraphQL API with two modes: HTTP for standard request-response queries and WebSocket for real-time subscriptions, so you can get notified as new blocks come in. For storage, you get to choose PostgreSQL for production deployments or SQLite for quick local deployments. Remember, the indexer on port 8088 from our wallet CLI workshop, that's the exact indexer running in a Docker container alongside the node and proof server. The CLI uses this same indexer to check your balances. NightGate is the enterprise play. It's a SAP Cloud Application Programming plugin that takes raw midnight chain data and normalizes it into business-friendly formats using CTS data models. If you are in corporate environments where you need to connect blockchain data to ERP systems, CRM workflows, or business analytics, NightGate is how you bridge that gap. Here's the big picture of how everything fits together. The Midnight node produces blocks. The Rust indexer processes those blocks and stores the structured data in PostgreSQL. A GraphQL layer serves the data to consumers, both the Explorer UI and your custom apps. The indexer is a central infrastructure piece here. Everything downstream depends on it. If you're building anything that needs to read chain data, whether it's a dashboard, a monitoring tool, or a full application, you're going through the indexer GraphQL API. All right, that's the overview. Let's go deeper into each piece. Okay, let's go deeper into the architecture and APIs. Explorers give you four main capabilities, and it's worth understanding each one. Block browsing. You can view blocks by height, hash, or timestamp, and navigate through the chain history. This is your bread and butter for understanding chain progression. Transaction details. Click on any transaction and you see inputs, outputs, fees, and status. This is how you debug when something goes wrong with a transfer or contract code. Address lookup. Search any address to see its balance and full transactions history. Great for verifying that funds arrived where you expected them. And network stats, charts, stateful info, real-time network metrics. This gives you the health check on the entire network at a glance. The Explorer supports two networks, and knowing which one to use matters. Preprod is your testing playground. It has faucet access so you can get free tokens. It's safe to experiment on. And this is where you deploy and iterate on your contracts without any risk. Use it for all your development and QA work. Mainnet is a real deal. Production data. You use this for monitoring live deployments, verifying that real transactions went through, and auditing on-chain states. The golden rule: always test on preprod first, then verify on mainnet. Never deploy to production without through testing. You have heard that before, I know, but it's worth repeating. Let's look at how the indexer works internally. It follows a four-step pipeline that runs continuously. Step 1. Connect to the Midnight node. The indexer subscribes to the node block feed and starts receiving raw block data. Step 2. Process blocks. As each block arrives, the indexer decodes it, extracts transaction, parses state changes, and structures all of that into a clean data model. Step 3. Store in the database. All that structured data goes into PostgreSQL or SQLite, indexed and ready for fast queries. Step 4. Serve via GraphQL. The API layer reads from the database and exposes it to consumers. Queries comes in, results go out. This runs as a continuous process. The indexer is always watching for new blocks, always processing, always keeping the database up to date. It's a real-time pipeline. The indexer lets you choose your data backend, and the choice depends on what you're doing. PostgreSQL is a production choice. It handles concurrent queries, supports full text search, scales with your data, and it's what you want for hosted indexers and team environments. If other people are querying your indexer, use PostgreSQL. SQLite is a developer's friend. Single file database, zero configurations, lightweight. Perfect for local development and quick experiments. You spin it up. It works. No setup drama. My recommendation: start with SQLite while you're learning and developing. Switch to PostgreSQL when you're ready to deploy something others will use. The indexer makes the switch easy. It's just a configuration change. The GraphQL API is your main interface to index data. Let me break down what it gives you. HTTP endpoint for standard queries. You send a POST request with your GraphQL query. You get back JSON. Simple as that. We will run some script commands in the hands-on section. WebSocket for real-time subscriptions. Connect once. Subscribe to topics like new blogs and get push data as events happen. No polling needed. Built-in filtering and pagination. You can filter blocks by height range, transactions by type, and paginate through large result sets without loading everything at once. The data models cover blocks, transactions, and addresses. Everything you would expect from a blockchain API, structured in a way that GraphQL makes very pleasant to query. Here's your first GraphQL query. This fetches the latest 5 blocks with their heights, hash, and timestamp. Notice how clean it is. You ask for exactly the fields you want, nothing more, nothing less. The first parameters control paginations, so you can grab 5, 10, 100 blocks at a time. This is the foundation query you will use constantly. To look up a specific transaction, you query by hash and pull back the fields you care about. You get the block height where the transaction was included, its status, the transaction type, and the fee that was charged. This is exactly what you need for debugging. Did my transaction land? In which block? Did it succeed? How much did it cost? All answered in one query. For real-time data, you use WebSocket subscriptions. Instead of polling the API repeatedly, you connect once and get notified as things happen. Connect to the indexer's WebSocket endpoint. Subscribe to the new blog's topic, and you will get a message every time a new blog is produced. This is a building block for live dashboards, monitoring tools, and alerting systems. We will build a working version of this in the hands-on section. Let's go a bit deeper on NightGate for those of you working in enterprise environments. It's built on SAP Cloud Applications Programming Framework, which means it follows enterprise patterns out of the box. The data models are defined using CDS, Core Data Services, which gives you type-safe definitions for all the blockchain entities. The key value proposition is normalization. Raw blockchain data is messy. Binary encoding, nested structures, chain-specific formats. NightGate transform all of that into clean, business-friendly data that your ERP, CRM, or analytics system can consume directly. Think of it as a translation layer between blockchain and enterprise IT. One of the best things about this architecture is how easy it is to build your own tools on top of it. The pattern is always the same. Step 1. Connect to the GraphQL API endpoint. Step 2. Query the data you need, blocks, transaction, addresses, whatever. Step 3. Optionally, subscribe to real-time events via WebSocket for live updates. Step 4. Build your dashboard, monitoring tool, or the app backend using that data. The GraphQL API is your building block. Anything you can query, you can turn into a custom tool. Want a Slack bot that alerts you when a specific contract gets called? Totally doable. Want a custom analytics dashboard for your app? Just query the API and render it. The foundation is there. Before we move on, let me share some practical tips that will save you time. First, initial sync takes time. When you start an indexer from scratch, it needs to process every block from Genesis. On preprod, with a lot of history, this can take hours. Be patient and monitor the progress. Don't assume it's broken just because it's slow. Second, size your database properly. PostgreSQL needs adequate disk space, and the chain data grows over time. Plan for growth, especially on maintenance. Third, cache frequent queries. If your dashboard is hitting the same query every second, add a caching layer. And fourth, respect rate limits. Don't hammer the API with thousands of requests per second. Use paginations to fetch data in reasonable chunks. If you need real-time data, use WebSocket subscriptions instead of polling. Let me give you a quick decision matrix for choosing the right tool. Midnight Explorer, visual, hosted, best for browsing and monitoring. This is your go-to for day-to-day chain observation. No setup, just open the browser. Simple Explorer, lightweight, self-hostable, best for learning and customization. Fork it, modify it, make it yours. The indexer directly. Raw GraphQL, best for building custom tools. When you need programmatic access, skip the Explorer UI and query the API directly. NightGate, enterprise SAP integration, best for business applications. If you are in that world, you know you need this. Most developers start with the Explorer for visual browsing, then add direct indexer access when they need to build something custom. That's the natural progression. All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty. Time to get hands-on. We're going to tour the Explorer, run GraphQL queries against the indexer, and build a simple live monitoring script. Open your browser and your terminal, if you are following along. For this section, you just need three things. A browser for exploring midnightexplorer.com, Node.js for running our WebSocket script, and curl for sending GraphQL queries from the terminal. That's it. No special setup, no Docker design. We will be querying the hosted preprod Explorer and indexer, so everything runs against live tested data. Okay, in this first demo, we're gonna make an Explorer tour. In this slide, you can see what we are about to do. Okay, let's open the Explorer. navigate to preprog-midnightexplorer.com. Okay, let's continue with the second demonstration, which is about a GraphQL query. In this slide, you can see what we are about to do. Okay, let's switch to the terminal. Okay, let's continue with the third demonstration, which is about a query transaction. In this slide, you can see what we are about to do. Okay, let's switch to the terminal. Okay, let's continue with the fourth demonstration, which is about a WebSocket script. In this slide, you can see what we are about to do. Okay, let's switch to the terminal. Okay, let's continue with our final demonstration, which is about a mini dashboard. In this slide, you can see what we are about to do. Okay, let's switch to the terminal. All right, let's recap what we covered today. We learned the difference between explorers and indexers. The indexer is the engine that processes chain data. The explorer is the dashboard that displays it. We toured the Midnight ecosystem, Midnight Explorer, Simple Explorer, the official indexer, and NightGate for enterprise integration. We dove into the indexer architecture, RAS-based GraphQL API, PostgreSQL, or SQLite storage, WebSockets subscriptions for real-time data. And in the hands-on section, we toured the Explorer in the browser, ran curl commands against a GraphQL API, wrote a WebSocket subscription script, and built a mini chain dashboard. The key takeaway: start exploring at midnightexplorer.com, no setup required. When you need programmatic access, query the GraphQL API directly. Okay, that's the end of this video. Drop any questions about explorers and indexers in the comments. I will do my best to answer all of them. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.